when you're writing from a personal standpoint and you have trauma and you have to start thinking about those things, it puts you back. And I tell people, be ready, be honestly, spiritually, emotionally, mentally ready, because you may believe you're healed, but once you have to revisit that, you may not be as healed as you believe.
Welcome to Rooted and Rising, where we focus on becoming whole through the mind, body, and spirit together. My name is Lamisa. We would like to welcome Angela Allen, a writer, coach, and mentor.
Hello, everybody.
Angie, at what point in your life did you know writing would be something you wanted to dive into full time?
Actually, not until probably around 2015. I have always been a reader. So I've been reading since I was probably in kindergarten. And I read so much, like I was on a reading level that was always above my age. So, like by eighth grade, I was already reading like adult fiction. Of course, appropriate adult fiction, but I was already reading adult fiction by eighth grade because you know the the eighth grade books or even the high school books, they weren't interesting to me because they weren't advanced enough. But I was always interested in reading. So about 2015 or 2014, I would say, I began to like think, okay, I wonder if I could be as creative, as the writers that I read, because I mostly read fiction. And so that's how it came about. I had doodled like quite a bit, just different things that I thought about from reading other books. And so I just went full speed ahead and was like, I'm just going to write a book about things that I've seen on TV, just create a story, different characteristics of myself, and see what family thought about it. Because I have my aunt that read, cousins that read, and that's where it went. And they were like, they thought it was interesting, they thought it was great. So I just kept going. I can't hear you.
Interesting that you talk about family, because my next question is there a person in your early life that supported you in writing?
Everybody really always supported me, like my mom, my sisters, my aunts. I mean, I would say particularly my late aunt. She passed away in 2018. She was an English reading teacher for like 30 something years. And so I know that's pretty much where I got it from, because I would always go to her when it was books we needed to read in school. Like, Auntie, what if, we're reading this book. And of course, it was something she already knew because that would be part of her curriculum. And so I would say, pretty much my whole family, but she was like one in particular that was always like rah rah for me. Because she actually edited my first book for me. And it was so funny because it took so long because she was so busy reading it instead of editing it. And so her and then a cousin of mine, because she's a avid reader, she was the first person that I actually let her read the manuscript to tell me, was it something that she thought would be interesting.
Has your creative process evolved across your different roles as a writer, narrator, host, and coach?
Ooh, it's I've learned a lot when I look back on my very first book and then what I began writing now. I've seen the growth in understanding character build up, and that goes across being able to narrate, for certain, productions, and certain scripts or things that people, allow me the opportunity, because, having to learn, who you're representing, what you're representing is very important. Because of course, when you listen to animated films and you hear the different people narrate, you have to get to that point where you understand the characters. So learning over time, especially also with coaching, every individual has their own journey. So coaching different people on their writing journey, You learn how to interact with different people's feelings and emotions and even triggers. Because if they're writing from a personal standpoint and their trauma comes up, you have to know how to navigate with them through those situations when they're writing, because they may get stuck within that. And so I've learned so much over since, like I said, 2015. It was 10 years this year that I've been writing. So, just the different aspects of the journey and growing in the different people that you may work with.
What if wellness wasn't just about your body, but about your whole life feeling good? The 2026 Wellness Powered by You digital planner is designed to empower every part of you with weekly insight, questions that guide your inner growth, and reflection space to help you honor your journey. True wellness means a calm environment too. In your new 2026 planner, you'll find quarterly prompts for closet clean out, home deep cleans, and car maintenance checklists to keep your space as clear as your mind. This is wellness powered by you. Be organized, be intentional, and leave 2026 a different person than you entered. Get your 2026 planner now at the link below. What was the plot of the first book and your inspiration behind it?
So the plot was a particular woman that was married, or that is married, and she and her husband got together, love each other. However, they would participate in different little escapades with other women. Um, at some point, he got to a point where he was like, "Hey, been there, done that. Let's just concentrate on our marriage and move forward, have a family." But she wasn't trying to hear that. And so she had a best friend that always tried to get her to do the right thing. So there were other characters that came into play, that they all ended up being a part of each other's lives, that made the story interesting because she thought she could still go on to do what she was going to do. But her husband ended up finding out all of her secrets, as well as her best friend. And she was surprised at some point on what her husband knew. And he had his own background plan. And then all the characters, like I said, ended up coming into each other's lives and being a part of each other's lives by certain decisions they made. My inspiration from it was, I love TV. So I watch a lot of TV, a lot of movies, a lot of shows, and I just take different things that I see, different scenarios, different situations, and just write from them. So that my first book was more of a drama, um, because of that. Her name, I named her Loyalty. So the name of the book is The True Essence of Loyalty. And so I wanted to give the readers a sense of, this is what happens when you believe someone is truly for you, but they have their own agenda. But also believing that everything happens for a reason, and God does what he does best. He does his own thing regardless of what you're trying to do, and allows the very people that you're trying to wrong to come out better, and even you, because you're going to learn a lesson from it. So there is a part one and two from that, so you could see, how it all unfolds. But yeah, that was the inspiration, and I always take characteristics of myself actually in each character in every book that I've written. Oh, always.
Can you share a moment that allowed you to step outside your comfort zone?
Oh, so that moment was when I decided to write a mature book. Most people call it erotica. Um, I am a big Zane fan, the writer Zane, which her books are erotica. She's had a show on Showtime back in the day. So again was like, I wonder if I could write that. Um, and so I tried and I wrote the first one. And again, that came from personal experiences as well as just hearing other stories from other people, seeing things on TV or reading other things. And so I had to learn that erotica was not romance. Erotica is just that. Mature, very, very mature. So that really took me out of my comfort zone. Like, I would read it because nobody would know what I'm reading most of the time. But to write it and have my name on it and put it out there was out of my comfort zone. But I was like, I feel like I was gifted this creativity for a reason. So why not use it if it's there? And so I wrote the first one and it was like, oh wow, when's the next one? So that, yeah, it was very much out of my comfort zone.
How do you move through blockages or stuckness in writing?
What I try to do is take some time and just be still and reflect on why I started writing in the first place, because I have it's a lot of space to get stuck. And they call it writer's block. And I don't really say writer's block. I just kind of put it in a unproductive state of mind, because if anything else is going on in your life, like I've had a lot going on in my life in the last year, and I've gotten to a point where I've gotten very lazy at times about writing. I'll put things on my calendar to do during the week or on the weekends, and I'll look and it's the next weekend and I didn't accomplish anything. And so putting myself in a space to again reflect on why I started writing, what I'm trying to do in the future, the paths that I'm trying to endeavor, puts me back in, okay, you got to be focused. Don't put so much on yourself at one time. Instead of saying you're going to take the whole day and write, put it in intervals. So like put away 30 minutes to brainstorm and then take a break, and then put another hour in actually writing some notes down. And so those are the things that I've had to do in order to stay on task. And it's hard again because life happens, but disciplining yourself to do those things, more so can put you back on task.
Do you achieve flow state when you're writing? If so, how does that feel?
Yes. Um, hmm. Once I start, I go. And that feels um rewarding because now I feel like I'm accomplishing something. Because I know once I start writing, I'm just going. Like I have 9 books. Most of the books that I've written at night. And I'll start at like 9 o'clock and I'm writing till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Because again, like I say, once I start, I don't want to stop, because the ideas are coming and coming and coming and coming. But I also know once I stop, it may take me some time to get back, because now I'm moving around. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But yeah, flow state. Once I'm flowing, it's like water. It just goes, and it's rewarding because, like I said, I feel like I am doing something at that point.
Can you share the specific settings, routines, or prompts that constantly help you get into the zone?
Um, Routines. I will say in the past, because I need to obtain another one. In the past would be move if it's at night. I would create a space pretty much at home, to write at night, and it's music, um, of course, quiet around me. The daytime, I create a space. I'll go out and I'll write like at a coffee shop, or I even have created a space, depending on what I'm writing, at a nightclub. And a lot of people will be like, it's noisy, it's a lot going on. And I'm like, but for me, depending on what I'm writing, that's the perfect scene because of what I'm writing. And I'm seeing so many people, different people interact and what they're doing. And that allows me the ideas um, to put forth in my story. So, getting up, having the routine of, okay, at this time, this is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to get up, I'm going to have me a cup of coffee, I'm going to go sit, outside and jot some things down. Lately, it's been a struggle because of the things that, I've went through and not really been in the space. So I have to now create a new routine. And I don't honestly know what that's going to look like yet. Because, like I I'll say I'm going to do this on the weekend, and I may do a little bit, not as much as I've intended to. And so creating a new routine is what my plan is. Um just to do something different. That did work for 10 years, but it's time to do something different. So I now have to create a new one. Don't know what that looks like yet, but we'll see.
Do you balance planning your work structure with surrendering to creative nudges?
Ooh, whoa. So now that I've actually went back into the workforce in July, I was I was working, but it wasn't as full time as it is now. So I had more time in the past several years to be creative a lot during the day and in the evenings. But now that I'm full time back in the workforce, it has become a challenge because I'm 8, 9 hour days, Monday through Friday. And again, the routines that I had before are not the routines now because of that schedule and those time constraints. And so when I get off in the evenings, my mind is not there to create, and I know not to force it because then it rambles, it doesn't come out the way that I intended. So my balance now is trying to create that space and routine on the weekends and allowing myself the time. But I also know I have to be disciplined for that because, again, the weekends is all I have. And that's life too. That's errands and all the other things that I need to do as an adult. And so that balance is starting to work itself, work in itself. Like, I don't have like a straight, sure balance yet because it's kind of, I'm doing it in spurts. I'm doing it as I can. Um, but it's starting to become more manageable because now I know what I'm trying to accomplish because I'm doing some things different with my brand. So now I know, okay, this is how you can place these things to do on 1 or 2 evenings as well as on Saturday and then take a day of rest because that's part of the issue too. You got to have a day of rest. So especially with your mind being creative, um, and so balance is becoming more manageable. Becoming.
Escape to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and reconnect with yourself at our Feed Your Soul Wellness Retreat happening April 29th. Imagine yourself surrounded by healing waters, expert guidance, and a community dedicated to real wellness. This is your moment to root and rise. Just lock in your spot and save with our early bird registration. Opening November 1st through November 30th. Set your clocks as there are limited space available. Now, back to the episode. How do you navigate the vulnerabilities of creating and sharing work while also maintaining healthy boundaries and emotional wellness?
usually always transparent about anything, especially about my creativity. I am a writer. I tell people all the time, I am a writer. I am used to, because of what I've written, I've always written fiction. Um, but going into another space and moving towards more purposeful writing, I understand that vulnerability is important. And I create the boundary of, if you don't like it, then that just means you don't understand it. But it's also my experience. So we can try to navigate that together, so I can allow you the opportunity to understand it. But if not, just understand that it's my experience. And that's, I'm not doing or writing or speaking or presenting anything to intentionally hurt anyone. Although I have to make sure that my purpose is fulfilled, and putting forth the insight for anyone that may be able to relate. So, and that's even in fiction, because all, no matter what it is, make believe writing, fiction, all it is reality fiction. Because any book that you've read, fiction, that's a made up story, it's somebody's story. When you see Lifetime movies, that's somebody's story, period. And so I I don't even know if I could say I'm vulnerable to to some things, but not with my creativity. Not at all. I'm really not. I'm very strong in what I believe I can do, and my creative mind, and I don't allow anyone to limit me in what they believe I can do. So that I've created that boundary of, if you don't like it, it just means you don't understand it. And I can try to help you understand it, but if not, then, you know, I'm sorry.
How do you structure your coaching for your clients?
So how I structure that is, first we do like a preliminary session on what their what they believe their purpose for their writing is. I tell every potential author that comes to me for coaching, first I need to know what you believe your purpose is. What is your why? And so that's the first part. Of course, depending on their answer, we move forward. If their answer is, well, I just feel like, I just want to write my story. I just feel like I want to put it out there, and they don't have a real why, then I go into, okay, um, the aspects of, if you just want just to tell it, understand that's all you're doing. People are nosy. They're going to get it just to see if you wrote about them, or who you wrote about and what happened to you and what they did. But that's the gist of it. Once they read it and they know, that's it. If the answer is, well, my purpose is to allow others to understand why I am who I am, and if that helps someone, then I've done my work. Then we go into the different aspects of what they're writing about, their journey. So if it's, say, trauma based, um, we go through the different facets of the story they want to relay. So if they want to start from birth on to now, I structure it into, okay, let's start as far back as you can remember about your life. 5 years old, 6 years old, and the things that was going on in your life, or wherever the starting point. We go from their starting point, and then we keep moving forward. I may stay in a certain point because of trauma or circumstances that now they have to relive, because when you're writing from a personal standpoint and you have trauma and you have to start thinking about those things, it puts you back. And I tell people, be ready, be honestly, spiritually, emotionally, mentally ready, because you may believe you're healed, but once you have to revisit that, you may not be as healed as you believe, because now you're revisiting something that really broke you at some point. So some parts some parts of the journey I stay in with them, to allow them the time to sit in it and understand, okay, again, why I'm doing this. Because there are times that I've worked with people, they get to a certain point and they're like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Because now I'm starting to think, oh, when they read this, so and so is going to think this, or people may not, believe this, or, and like I said, the very first part of that journey is me sitting down with them, asking them what is their why. And if their why is, I want my story to be able to heal myself, heal me, and heal someone else that may be going through something, then that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. This is your experience. And so that structure is throughout the whole process. Each level is remembering that this is your experience, has nothing to do with anyone else. Now, if you tell me you just trying to get back at somebody and be, then yeah, but we can't work together, because that's not the focus. That should not be the focus. However, I structure my timeline for coaching is either 30 days, 90 days, or 6 months, or a year. And some people are not getting coached because they're writing a book. Some people are getting coached because they're just journaling and they want to learn how to journal their thoughts and their emotions, without feeling either too vulnerable or feeling like they're doing something wrong by putting it on paper. And so that's pretty much how my structure goes. I like to allow people the time, the mental space, to reflect on what they're doing, because it is a journey.
What's one wellness practice you've adopted that surprised you with how much it enhanced your creativity?
I just thought about this the other day. I like taking baths. I love taking baths with candles and music. And this is creative mind, when I don't feel good, physically and mentally. But it does allow me the mental space to create. And because, again, outside of TV, I love music. Music, oh gosh, music is the forge to make me want to just do something. And it's all kinds of music. So I know a lot of people personally that don't like, they don't take baths, and I don't take them honestly to bathe. I take them for self-care. Like, the water allows me um to relax. And like I say, I make it a whole thing. I make it, with candles and music, and I make it a whole experience. And that allows me the creativity, because I'll think about something. I'll daydream about different scenarios or different things that I've experienced during the day, or I've seen. on TV, and I'll sometimes even have a notepad. And as soon as I think of something, I jot it down. Because that's another thing. Of course, I don't want to wait. I may forget. But that one thing like that, I'm like, I can't take a bath every day, Angie. You wouldn't get nothing done. So I have to, like maybe twice a week. But that is the one thing that, oh my God, that is like the best thing for me.
Looking at your creative life holistically, what does success actually mean to you beyond external matrix?
It means peace. It means, oh, good, like the most complete, utter peace and joy. Um, I can have all the money in the world, and okay, money allows us to be able to make decisions, right? But money doesn't create peace, because it's a lot of people out here with money, and they are just mentally anguished. um, so peace, serenity, joy, and being able to help others, being able to give back to others, my community, and then of course at that point take care of my family. But that's because I'm able to be present and available, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, for everyone in my life. Um, so that is my ultimate goal. That is what I pray for every day, to be able. And I know life happens and everything is not going to be wonderful every day, but being able to navigate those difficult times, um, but still have peace and not allow it to break me or bring me down.
Where can the people find more of you and your work, Angie?
So I am on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Threads. And you can find me. It's under AK, The Ultimate Experience. I was Angie K Books, but now that I'm moving towards some other things and not just writing books, I'm rebranding myself. And so all of those platforms you can find me. You can find me at my email, which is AK the ultimate experience. And it's not ultimate. It's AK the experience. That's my email. But again, social media, you can find me anywhere, send me a message. I'm creating another website right now because it's going to look different than it was when it was just books. But those are all the places you can find me. Mm, if you live in San Antonio, you could find me somewhere, sometime. I'm somewhere sometimes. But yeah, those are all the places you can find me right now. And once I, get the website up and everything, of course, everybody will be able to go on there. But just now that I'm doing different things, I'm still writing, but again, I'm more so into creating stories. So if that's for a movie or a show or anything like that, that's where I'm moving towards, and then still coaching people on their writing journey.
Well, Angie, thank you so much. I was so overwhelmed with all this information about you, and you go and have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you, y'all. Thank y'all so much.